Welcome to the Coach's Sons podcast. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Chris.
It is January 6th, the date of recording. You're listening to this hopefully the next day on January 7th. Happy New Year, everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about the Hall of Fame. But before we get to that, we're going to talk some trades. We're going to talk some acquisitions. Obviously, the offseason is still in full gear. But before that, let's talk about this episode is brought to you by Chinook Seedery, the best sunflower seeds in the game. These guys are all over college baseball, U.S. baseball. You're going to see them in all your stores. They have the amazing blue, red, and yellow logo. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see it there. If not, then go to YouTube and check us out. Anyways, go to Coach's Sons. Or you can use our code Coach's Sons Pod at checkout, and you can get a discount there. My favorite flavor right now is probably the cinnamon toast. That's I've never had sweet sunflower seeds, and they're pretty damn good. So I'm excited.
That's where I'm at right now, but we do have a video incoming. By incoming, meaning we have to record it, but we're going to try all the flavors, rank them in our opinion. I do think cinnamon's going to come out on top. However, that is the only one I've had thus far.
See, that's my flavor of the week. I was on dill 2 weeks ago, the hot chili, the first time we got our shipment in. The original obviously is very good if you like just the salt and the actual taste of the sunflower seeds. So, we're definitely going to be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a fun March Madness style elimination tournament for sure. All right, Chris. So we have about 6 moves that matter-ish that have happened. So give us a recap. Start at the top. We all know who the top is, but go ahead and throw it out there.
Yeah, we're going to. It's going to feel like we run through these pretty quick, and that is mostly because we're super excited about this Hall of Fame portion. But we can't move forward without talking about Corbin Burnes and the Arizona Diamondbacks. 6 years, $210 million. To say I was surprised was an understatement.
Yeah.
And I think it was he wanted to be nearest home. And they gave him a good deal, and now the D-backs have him and Zach Gallen at the top of the rotation, and the Diamondbacks are right back where they need to be.
I mean, yeah, it's a 1-2 punch that is substantial, right? I mean, especially if Gallen pitches to his capability. We've seen Burnes obviously doesn't look like he's lost anything. Tough blow for the Orioles, but I mean. I think it's they've got plenty of talent. They'll be fine. The Diamondbacks, this is big because they've got to keep up with the Dodgers, and this is a good way to do that. So pitching wins championships. I really believe that, and they were all in. I'm surprised. I mean, I don't think I know what their biggest contract in history is, but I bet if we looked it up, this is pretty close to the top. So it's I'm trying to think of who it would be other than Burnes, and I can't think of a big acquisition that the Diamondbacks have really done.
I'm gonna miss. You know what I mean? I'm gonna mess it up, but I'm pretty sure it is the biggest. But the only other large one I'm aware of is Zach Gallen when Gallen signed his extension. To get to where he is now. To be honest, I could have sworn that was stuff that got tweeted out, but I don't remember. Why would I remember that at all? So I will just say, it's got to be one of the biggest. I don't know who else they would have given it to. I mean, perhaps in the past, Montgomery, on an annual basis. But
Upton?
Again, I'm not even going to,
Justin Upton in his prime, maybe.
Let's just stop speculating and let's just say this is it. That's all I got.
Seems like it. Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. Corbin Burnes to the D-backs. I think it's a great move for them, and how I love the idea of a 1-2 punch in the postseason. And if you've got him and Gallen healthy, ready to go, obviously you have to get to the postseason. The West isn't a cakewalk anymore, so you get into the postseason. You got those two guys. If that lineup produces, they're gonna be contenders again. They already made the move for Naylor, right? You could say it's a 1-for-1 with Christian Walker. Some would argue you want Walker instead. But now that kind of makes Montgomery a little bit expendable. Whether or not they want to keep him around to see if he bounces back is another story. But they still got Merrill Kelly. They still got Brandon Pfaadt. They still got Eduardo Rodriguez. They've got a couple guys waiting in the wings as well. So I think they're better off for it. Quite a surprise to what seems to be the outside baseball world, outside of the Diamondbacks realm. But maybe they knew they had a good in on him all along. But overall, I'm excited for the move, and maybe they can help you out and put a stop to the Dodgers. Seems unlikely, but
Seems very unlikely. I just looked it up. Corbin Burns is the largest contract the D-backs have ever had, free agent contract. It eclipsed Zach Greinke.
Damn it.
Yeah,
I was close.
You're close.
Z and
you're
a
close.
G. I was close.
Yeah, you were really close. And then Carroll, they extended him. That's their largest extension. So the D-backs have made their two biggest contracts, like whether it's a signing or an extension, have happened in the last couple of years. So Diamondbacks are starting to step it up. So good for them. I'm excited for that. So
they're not afraid to spend.
Not anymore. Let's do it. I mean, again, the Carroll has to wake up and be better. And they're still missing some pieces within the lineup. But I mean, that is a dangerous pitching staff. Even without Burns, they were a good pitching staff. Now they're even better. So that's exciting. I mean, again, the West in the NL is such an arms race. The Padres, the D-backs, I mean, the freaking Giants are even trying to play ball here. So it's I think it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So
let's move to, you had said the Orioles are kind of, a bummer for them to lose out. They're, not so flashy of a deal, but pitcher signing. They went and got Uncle Chuck, Charlie Morton. What's he, 41, 42 years old? He's
Uncle
still slinging
Chuck, that's Grandpa Chuck. What are you talking about?
1 year, $15 million. They're doing it in their own way, I guess. They're spending money, but he fills a need. He's going to be in the rotation. I don't know if he's just going to be asked to hold his own until Bradish comes back and some of these arms prove. I don't know. We'll see. I know we got beat to the punch on getting RDT. RDT was on Baseball is Dead today, so Carabas got a hold of him before we did. I get it. But no, at some point we'll get back onto RDT because I feel like the Orioles have a big move left in them, whether it is via trade or one of the remaining free agents. But they're kind of filling holes. Not the way any fans, based on what Twitter looks like, not the way any fans want it to happen. Right, but they are indeed filling holes. And that's all I'll say there, unless you have anything else to add on.
No,
Charlie
I mean, Charlie, thank you for your service, sir. I mean, look, he's an ageless wonder. Like, he's been a solid pitcher for us at late in his career. So, I mean, good for him for being able to get that bag for another year. I can't imagine that he has much left. But he's ageless wonder. He continues to show up year after year and eat innings, and not in a way that makes you go, oh crap, here we go, we got Charlie. He was above average pitcher in the majors at 40. So, I mean, that's commendable. Good for him. It sucks he has to go and get cold in Baltimore. That's not good for the old bones, but I'm sure he'll do just fine. I think you're right. I think it's just the Orioles are trying to create like a bridge to get to whatever the next step is. So, that's what I got.
Yeah,
so thank you.
About 165 innings he's been given out the last couple of years, a little bit over in 2022. Round about a 4 ERA. 2023 had a much better season, of course, but round about a 4 ERA, we'll say. Innings eaters are valuable. I don't think you'll hear us disagree. So if they get some solid starts out of them until they get a full staff, then kudos to them. Let's jump back to the West Coast, I think. Teoscar Hernandez. I think you had him staying with the Dodgers. It doesn't surprise anybody with the year that he had. 3 years, $66 million. They stay the same as far as he's concerned. He after his down year in Seattle, went to LA, surrounded by stars, had no pressure on him, got to do his thing, became a star again, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
He did win the Silver Slugger in Toronto before going to Seattle, and now he got paid, compensated for it. Good for him. I have no ill will towards Teoscar Hernandez. I wish him the best. So good deal for him. I don't remember all of it, but I'm sure most of it is deferred. Good for the Dodgers. They know what they're doing. They've got it all figured out. I'm not even going to go expound on Teoscar. It wasn't a new ad. They're just adding him back to the team. Great.
Yeah. I mean, it good for the Dodgers. I hate it.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it wasn't a surprise. I wish I felt like he had a chance to go to like the Reds, and that would have been cool for
awesome.
the Reds specifically. Yeah. I know Dan would have been blowing me up all about it, but anywho, he stays with the Dodgers. Now, the one surprise signing that did happen, Korean second baseman Hae-Sung Kim, not Ha-Sung Kim from the Padres. Hae-Sung Kim, and I could be butchering both pronunciations. However, two different guys, two completely different guys. But Hae-Sung was a target of my Seattle Mariners, and much to my chagrin, he is a Dodger for 3 years and $12.5 million. I don't know how to feel. I think I commented on our boy Chris Clegg's post after he tweeted some stuff on him. I was like, good, he stinks. He's not even good. He can't even hit for power, right? He's an okay defender. The guy hits for contact, gets on base. He's one of the best second basemen in Korea or in that league. The Dodgers are just adding depth, and that's what they do best. How often he's going to play? Is he going to get 600 at-bats like he would on some of the other teams that were interested? I don't know. I guess it does remain to be seen how much of an impact he will have in Major League Baseball. But what better team to hit in the 8th spot for than the goddamn LA Dodgers with, again, zero pressure, zero expectations, play your game, and everything else will come into fruition for you.
Yep.
So, and that's the thing. They didn't. What can you complain about there? They didn't overpay for anybody. They pay $4 million a year. Anybody could have done it. They have every right to point to every part of their organization and be like, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And pick us or don't. And there he is. So they won based on their organizational whatever. I have to pick up this pen. It's driving me goddamn crazy.
No, I think it's fair. If I was a foreign player, that's the team I would want to go to, right? The best team in the league with like all these superstars where I don't have to do anything other than show up every day to play a game. Yeah, I'm in. It's whatever. I hope he sucks.
Agreed. I wanted him in Seattle. Now it's like, screw him. He's not even good, right? So I don't know. It's the Dodgers, and they do their thing, and that one is like where you can be. You can't be mad. It's just okay. They're the Dodgers, and they're the best team. And if you were a free agent, a foreign free agent, offered similar money across 4 or 5 different teams, are you or are you not going to the best team possible? You are. End of discussion. And that's as simple as that. And I believe there was a team option or option for additional years at the end. I don't remember it, but he's going to make his money. Good for him. What else happened? Oh, this is another surprise. Gleyber Torres, Detroit Tigers. I like the move. I like Gleyber. I think he's very underrated. 1 year, $15 million, a little prove-it deal for himself. Sure. I think that means Cole Keith moves to first base. I guess we'll see what the Tigers lineup looks like. There's still some offseason for them to make some moves if they need to. But I like Gleyber. I have no problems with him. He's a good player.
I mean, he's a very good player, and they did need help in their lineup, but I still the Tigers got to get some pitching, man. They've got Skubal can't carry that team. I mean, he did. He carried them into the playoffs, but that was it. They've got to get other arms. That has to be a priority. I can't imagine it not being. So, good player, good pickup. Good for Torres. He's got a year to prove it. Hopefully he does. because it's fun when the Tigers are good. But geez, I just don't. That's one of those where you're like, do they really? That's not what they need. That's not that's not what they need. But okay.
Yeah, but it helps, and it shows that they're willing to spend money to make the team better. They got better, but like you said, there's still bigger moves. I don't know how far in they are on Jack Flaherty again. Maybe they do have a chance to actually bring him back. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But you're right.
It's just like, why would you, like, if you have a car and it has a flat tire, why would you buy a new engine? You know what I mean? Like, it's still not going to go anywhere. Like, you have to fix the tire. I don't know. I mean, again, I agree.
I don't know, man. You could get where you're going on a donut for a little while.
There's no donut there, buddy. They're on the rim. They're on the rim. Okay. That's it. The foundation.
No respect for Reese Olson. Noted.
No, absolutely not.
Noted. All right. A couple quick ones, and then one trade, and I have one other call out after that, and we'll move forward. So, quick shout out: Josh Bell, Nationals, 1 year, $6 million. Sure, he's going to DH or play first base when Nathaniel
part-time producer Doug Irwin is super excited about it. I say it sarcastically
because it fits the Nationals model of, hey, let's sign a guy for cheap. Oh, he plays well, and let's trade him and pick up a prospect that won't play for us for 3 years. That's what they do every year. So anyway, that's Josh Bell. Michael Lorenzen. Kansas City Royals, 1 year, $7 million feels really, 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 really cheap. So I like it. It's a Royals type move. I'm sure the Royals will win 1,000 games again this year because of this signing. So I can't talk shit on it until he actually stinks. So good for them. That's all I'll say. I don't hate it for that price. I don't think you could hate really any pitcher signing in the league.
Right.
That's a starting pitcher. The other move, I could have talked about it with the Dodgers, but due to them signing Kim, that made Gavin Lux expendable. So within the past couple of hours, they had just traded Gavin Lux to the Cincinnati Reds for Mike, not Soroka, Sirota, Sirota. I guess he was one of. Yeah, it's very close. When I texted Dan, Gavin Lux took a couple question marks. He's like, who'd they trade? And I told him, and he said, he put the name and 2 question marks. Like, I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, am I supposed to know who this man is? He's like, I don't know who that is. I said, okay, cool. Then you approve. So everybody's offseason was the Reds need a right-handed outfield bat. They acquired a left-handed second baseman. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I'm sure they'll shuffle McClain around and shuffle Spencer Steer around. I don't know. But that is a
team of a bunch of dudes gets another dude. You know what I mean? Like, they just acquire guys who, I think I made this analogy last time for another reason, but how teams just, who was it? The Twins used to acquire just like midline starters. That's what the Reds do for hitters. They just have a shit ton of them, and they're just all over the place. They don't even have positions anymore. And it's just like, go ahead out there. Hey, look, go play somewhere in the middle today.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Like, we could play a little center. You need to play short. Like, Steer will move around. I guess they'll figure it out. But I guess we'll see. That there was a rumor that he might get flipped again to the Yankees. Again, not holding my breath. It is Gavin Lux. He was kind of the odd man out in LA for a while there. So that's really all I've got on the transactions. The thing I want to touch on really quick, and I doubt you caught it because I didn't talk to you about it. Have you seen anything coming out of the Padres side of the world today? Let me pull it up so I don't, because this is a big deal.
The Padres. Oh.
Yeah. So I don't want to get any information wrong. So this is going to be news to you. I'm excited to see your reaction. Okay. So, all right. Sheil Seidler, the widow of former owner of the Padres, is supposed to be the heir to the Padres. Well, that has not been the case. This is from her Twitter account. A letter. I'll read what I can verbatim. I think it's worth reading. Earlier today, I filed a complaint against Matthew Seidler and Robert Seidler, both of his brothers, to protect my family and continue to carry out Peter's legacy. Aside from our 3 wonderful children and our marriage, there was nothing Peter and I valued more than the opportunity to serve as stewards of this extraordinary franchise. Let's see. And so, sorry. For more than a decade, we put our heart and soul into its success, and those who saw our shared commitment up close know it was a true partnership every step in the way. And so, as holder of the largest individual ownership stake in the San Diego Padres and the sole beneficiary of the Seidler Trusts, which possess exclusive rights with respect to control of the franchise, I am seeking to be named the control person for the Padres. Essentially, the brothers have commandeered this franchise, basically holding it. Me neither. But this is from her. So this is going to court. It's this is her letter, but there's apparently like 91 pages of material, like court legal documents and stuff.
Hold on. How do the brothers have any right to the franchise? Were they part or owners at all?
I don't know.
They had to be, right?
This is still her letter. The complaint alleges claims against Matthew and Robert for breaches of fiduciary duty and fraud. I would urge anyone who is interested in the details to read the full complaint. Let's see.
Yeah, that sounds like some shitty.
She's
rich
like,
people
I have
shit.
not wanted to do it. It sucks. But the Padres fans have very much sided with Scheel. Yes,
Yeah.
Her name's Scheel, Sheel. And it's rightfully hers and her children's.
Wow.
Based on. So it's kind of a very messy situation. Excuse me, overall. So again, I know you didn't. I figured you didn't see it.
No, I did not know.
But it caught me by very much surprise.
Yeah, my assumption's always been it was going to go to his because he has a couple sons, I believe, and I thought they were going to take over. That's always what I assumed.
They're young, from my understanding of this. Yeah. So eventually, the children they want to leave it to their kids.
Yeah.
And now she's looking for a quick resolution so that she feels she can run the organization the way it needs to be run. So basically, like in that time, like somehow the brothers have, again, I might be screwing this up, but she's not in control somehow. And she's
wild.
Filing this complaint to get control, to get them the hell out because they should have nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
and
sounds
basically
like I need
everything
to look into
that's
that.
been. Yeah, and basically everything that's been going on has not been of her doing. And if you recall, you make jokes of Peter's spending, and he was there to win, right? That he's my type of owner, right? Where it's let's go and pick a team, let's go and win, right? So I wish her the best in her endeavors in getting this done. I think it's kind of crazy that it all went down this way, but it caught me very much by surprise this afternoon. I did tweet it from the account, but I assumed you didn't see it. Picking up this pen again.
Yeah, no, I did not see it, but that's something I'm going to look into after this podcast for sure. Because that's a wild story, man. Rich people, dude. Like it's like it sucked to be his kid to be like, oh, my uncles are trying to take this thing that my father built for me away. That's fucked up. That's whatever. I've got a lot of opinions there. So, but there's two sides to every story. So who knows? Maybe there's something else that was said.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too, but we'll see what happens. Okay, before we move on, I have a text. All right, so I'm gonna get your response. This is live. Okay, I have a text. Clay here, longtime listener, first time caller. Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth, Pete Alonso, Mark McGwire, Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Hank Aaron, and Bartolo Colon all in a home run derby. All the players must drink 24 beers before batting, except Bartolo. He's stone cold sober. Who wins it? From our good friend Clay.
Wait, was Babe Ruth in that?
Babe Ruth was in that, yes.
Yeah, Babe Ruth probably wins.
I was going to say Barry Bonds because he could hit a home run in his sleep, but if there's alcohol involved, Babe Ruth probably had the most experience of playing baseball while he was drunk.
And then you could enter Wade Boggs into that conversation, even though he wasn't a home run hitter.
Okay, I'm gonna still say Barry Bonds, but Babe Ruth is a damn good argument.
Who are the other ones?
Pete Alonso, nah.
No,
Mark McGwire is a good one because
I don't think
this is juiced. This is Juice McGuire.
Oh yeah, prime Mark McGwire.
Yeah, prime Mark. I think that's fair. Shohei, I don't think so. Aaron, no, because he's not going to get juiced balls. Hank Aaron, great home run hitter. Braves, great forever. Not going to win this one. Bartolo, I mean, he'll get one or two.
Bartolo isn't winning.
No, he's not. Like, freaking Barry could fall over and hit it off his hands, and it would hit it 400 feet. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's, I don't see how he's not.
Yeah, and maybe the rumors are wrong about Babe. Like, maybe it's all folklore that he was drinking and stuff. I don't know. So there's a chance. I don't know. But it's a very good question. I did like that.
So thank you, Clay, for sending in your question. And that's my fault for telling him we were doing a podcast. He's like, well, you shouldn't have done that. So anyways,
it's all right. He's in.
All right. He's in. We'll let him know. He might actually listen finally. All right. So Hall of Fame.
Yes. I love this. So we are about to partake in the 2025 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot. Now, we have not previously discussed how we want to do it. So we're going to hash this out live for you here. Okay. So we each have our ballots set, I would assume, at least I do. But I have an alternative way of thinking about it. And if you tell me no, that's fine.
Okay.
What if we, instead of doing it separately, had to come up with just one ballot?
That's what I thought we were going to do. So, like the Coach's Sons podcast
ballot.
We need to steal the actual ballot. They're on the internet where you can see
it.
Okay, perfect. And then we need to tweet it out, and hopefully they take us and we become, a part of it. Anyways, go ahead. You have the actual ballot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it comes from, well, I don't, it's not the one they actually get, I don't think. I don't know.
There's pictures of the one they actually have.
It's just black and white. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, perfect.
It's 3 columns.
Yep.
There's a little,
that's the one.
We do have that.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So, yeah, buddy, I'm all over that. All right, so that's what I wanted to hash out because we didn't talk about it before because I believe last year we just each did our 10 and it's like, oh, we got the same guy. And I thought maybe it'd get a little bit interesting if we have to, bicker back and forth about why, I want this guy and you want this guy. And quite frankly, we might come pretty close in this conversation. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to keep track. But I'll do, I'm looking at the ballot as we speak, and I know who I picked, or, I also have who I picked. So I'll go in alphabetical order, and we'll just kind of go guy by guy and give it a yes or no and a why or why not, or how do you want to do this?
So my question was going to be, do we want to do 10? Because I don't know if there are 10 people on this ballot I would vote for. I know it's a max of 10.
I mean, we're picking the Hall of Fame. I don't know how many you had. I had 10.
You had 10? Okay,
and
cool.
I could have went 13. What are you talking about?
No.
Okay. Whatever, right? If there's a guy, then that's the conversation we're about to have. Okay. And I know you're going to say no on the very first guy I'm going to talk about.
Oh, here we go. So you're going to talk about the guy that should be in the Hall of Fame based on his numbers. I would argue there's 2 guys that will not get in, and it's because of steroids and stuff. But go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go in alphabetical order, and we'll say I'll say the name, and then it'll just be like a pause, and then we'll each say yes or no at the same time, and then we'll go from there.
Okay,
we'll see how that works.
Okay,
all right. First name.
Yep.
Bobby Abreu. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
No. I had a feeling this was coming because of a text you sent, I think last week. You compared, what was like first, what, 8 seasons? What was it, 6 seasons?
That would be the first 13 seasons, Andrew.
First 13 seasons.
Between
okay.
Bobby Abreu and Bryce Harper, where Bobby Abreu has more WAR. And this is all baseball reference. Every WAR number I will reference will be B-WAR. Played a couple more games, but have more WAR, more hits, not as many home runs. However, more RBI, steal, batting average, on-base percentage. He did not have as much slugging, OPS and OPS plus, did not have 2 MVPs, and did not have 4 Silver Sluggers. He did have 1. I think Bobby Abreu is one of the most underrated players on this ballot, in the game. And does that ultimately land him in the Hall of Very Good? Perhaps. But I think that I'm comfortable putting him in over some of the other guys that I ended up leaving out.
Okay. So here's the deal with Bobby Abreu. He is, I mean, it's not a lot, but he's a sub 300 batting average for his career. He's a sub 300 home run hitter for his career. So not a power guy and not really a great, like, I know average is not the full picture, right? His OBP is 395. His OPS is 870. 870 is pretty good. But like you say, it's pretty average. 800 is average as an average baseball player. So
800, not 870.
Oh, I'm sorry. 870 is a Hall of Fame number? No. I don't think it is.
I said it could be Hall of Very Good, but I'm putting him in.
I think it's Hall of Very Good. I don't think it's. I think. You know who we should compare him to? You know who we should compare him to?
Go ahead.
Bernie. Look at his numbers compared to Bernie's. I'm interested.
Are you doing that? Or
I'm going to do that.
Tasking me with that?
No.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to spit my own Bobby propaganda.
Yes. Go ahead.
There are 8 players. Because this is another text I sent you. There were 8 players in history with 2,000 hits, 500 doubles, 200 homers, and 400 steals. Bobby Abreu was one of them. The others: Paul Molitor, Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds, Roberto Alomar, Craig Biggio, those are 5 Hall of Famers, by the way, Johnny Damon, Jimmy Rollins, and Bobby Abreu. We could disregard Johnny Damon and Jimmy Rollins for the sake of this conversation.
That's fair.
You get the point.
This isn't as close as I wanted it to be. Okay. So Bobby Abreu is better than
Bernie Williams. Yeah, at everything.
Other than, nope. Bernie's batting average and slugging is better. He has more championships, more All-Stars, more batting titles, more Gold Gloves, the same amount of Silver Sluggers, and more MVPs. So Bernie performed when it mattered and mattered
more
and has
MVP.
all the awards.
Bernie Williams doesn't have an MVP.
LCS MVP, sorry.
Oh, that doesn't fucking count.
Shove
that up your ass. He went to 19 of them. What the hell he won 1 of them. Good for him. Get lost.
His WAR is 60.2. Bernie's is 49. I mean, he played more games than Bernie. Yeah. So, I mean, look, Bernie is a terrible comparison because he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. We all agree with that. But I was hoping
who had more home runs, real quick, or unless you had the comparison tool up.
I do. It's 288 to 287.
I know. I'm looking at it. I was testing you.
Like exactly the same. That's ridiculous. Essentially, that's wild.
They're pretty close in hits too, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, so to me, Bobby Abreu is Bernie Williams.
Okay.
A little better than Bernie, but I don't think Bernie is a Hall of Fame player.
Well, I tend to disagree a little bit there. I thought Bernie was very good for a while, but I guess that's the point, right? I guess that's the Hall very good.
Yeah. What was Bernie's WAR 7? Hold on one second. I'm going to look at. Yeah, keep talking.
I guess that's what I'm saying. So that's the conversation we're having, I suppose. So for now, we're going to leave this one unmarked, and we'll have to reconvene and come back to this one.
He's a hard Like he's a soft maybe for me.
Okay. I'm saying
Yeah.
if you try to make this like an 8-person ballot, Bobby Bray was going on our ballot. That's all.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right.
That's where I'm at. All right.
Okay.
The second player on the ballot in alphabetical order, Carlos Beltran. 1,
In.
2,
Oh,
3.
sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I'm so shocked he didn't make it last year, but he was pretty close. I think he had like close to 60%. I can't remember the actual numbers last year, but and I'm just surprised. I mean, he was so good for like his WAR 7 is pretty outrageous, like his best 7 years, right? And I think he had 57%.
What the hell? What are you throwing out there? What are you saying?
So WAR 7. So Baseball Reference does this thing where they take the best 7 years and give the WAR from those 7 years. So it measures like their peak, because one of the things that the Hall of Fame does really bad, and we've talked about this, is that they don't pick players who are so dominant, but only for short periods of time. It's like you have to culminate numbers. So guys who play longer have a better chance of making the Hall of Fame because they stack stats where they're like, I mean, Johan Santana, right, is your big argument where like he was so damn dominant for like the best, and it wasn't even close for those few years, but he just didn't have a long enough career. So that I think that's a good number to look at. Hey, this is at their peak. This is their seven best seasons. This is how good they were. But I think Beltran, lifetime WAR is over 70. It's the best on the ballots. His is the best, other than another guy, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Yeah, I mean, I think Beltran deserves the nod, I think he'll get in this year, if I'm being quite honest. So yes, in.
I'm with you. He got See, I'm looking at a tracker from Not Mr. Tibbs, and I don't recall if he fills in everything. 385. He's at 61.1% as of last year, so that sounds about right. If you could double check that and just see what percentage of the vote he got, so I can use that for what we're doing going forward.
So last year, his percentage vote was 57.1.
Okay, sorry, I was looking at the wrong line. He does have that.
Yep.
Sorry, I was looking at the big bold one. I had to look a little further. Okay, got
Gotcha.
it. We're good. We're on the same page.
I will say I'm looking at a track, so we're both obsessed with it. I have the tracker of ballots that have been published so far, and he's sitting at 76%. So it does look like he is going to get in. Well, I mean, we're only like at 26% of the way. So there's a lot of ballots to be counted. Live in America, we should all know not to, the game's not over till all the ballots are counted. So we'll see what happens. But
correct.
Yeah, I mean, he was close last year. So I think this is the year he gets in.
And the other concern, not concern, is that last year only 82.1% of the ballots were actually public. So we won't know everything beforehand, or we won't know how everybody voted. So those couple get tough to track, whether ads, losses, things like that. But again, to your point, I don't want to repeat everything you said, but Beltran's numbers are all right there. A couple hundred hits shy of 3,000, 435 homers, Gold Glover, Silver Slugger, tons of WAR. He did have the scandal. Right. I don't think that's hurting him as much, or else he wouldn't have got 57.1%. I hope he has enough this year. I want him in. I think he deserves it. But even if it's not this year, I do think within his 10 years, because it's only his second year on the ballot, I think within his 10 years, he should be well within the threshold to get in.
Yeah, if he doesn't make it this year, then if you're already sitting close to 60 to 70%, in the first couple of tries, I mean, you would think at some point you're going to make it in. So, all right, what you got next?
Next guy, Mark Burley.
So you're going alphabetical by last name. Okay, fair enough. Okay, gotcha.
1, 2, 3.
No.
Okay. He's just good. That's it. I wouldn't even consider him very good. He was just good. He's got one ever top 5 Cy Young finish. he has a ton of WAR, and I'm curious if that's because he has 4 Gold Gloves. And like, sorry, you'll probably get mad, but like Gold Gloves as a pitcher is just like a weird thing. Like, you know, if they're quantifying him in that much for WAR, he isn't worth that much to me. Like his WAR is like oddly high for someone of that caliber of pitcher.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think that he has some longevity there, right? Too, I think, and that's helpful. Has over 200 wins. Not that matters. So end all be all, like he's one of those guys. If he fell below the threshold, I wouldn't be surprised, but he's not. He's just going to get just enough to keep him around until his 10 years runs out. Because there are people who are like, yeah, he deserves it. He had a long tenure, and he played, pitched for a very. I mean, he was a good lefty for a really long time. Like it's tough to say that he doesn't deserve anything. I mean, he was an all-star many times, had Cy Young votes, but never won. So it's tough for me. If you don't have a Cy Young and you're a pitcher, I don't know if you can be a Hall of Famer. Maybe I'm just being biased, but it just feels like if you never got the Cy Young, you were never the best at any point in your career, and that just doesn't feel like you should make the Hall of Fame, if that makes sense.
If you had one start, would you pick him or Tim Hudson?
Tim Hudson.
Okay. He has more career B WAR than Tim Hudson does.
Yeah. I just feel like Tim Hudson, when he was at his best, was more dominant. I never remember Burley being dominant. I remember him always being good. I never remember, you know what I mean? Yeah.
He's the ace of a decent team. He won the World Series. Kudos to him. But like, that's about it, right? Like,
yeah.
It's all. I don't. Some people love him, and like I don't have a problem with him. Like he was your ace. He was good. But again, that's where I'm coming at the 59.1 WAR. He had a 3.81 career ERA. Like I don't know. I think he was good, but Tim Hudson, just going off of pure numbers, had more strikeouts, had more wins, had a better ERA, pitched in, 20 less games, had a similar or better whip, and had less career WAR. That's what I'm saying. But I haven't looked at the defensive numbers, but that's what I mean by the Gold Gloves stocking them up. So it's like that just doesn't sit right with me. But and that's not a knock on WAR, because I use it. It strengthens or weakens an argument most of the time. However, I just don't think Burley's there.
Yep, I agree.
All right. I think the next two will be agreed upon easily, but we'll see. Carlos Gonzalez, Colorado Rockies. 1, 2, 3. No. Okay.
I don't think he'll even make it. I don't think he'll have the threshold.
He doesn't have one vote in 98 votes.
Yeah.
98 public ballots. Curtis Granderson. Many teams. Tigers, Yankees. I feel like he was on a couple others. 1, 2, 3. No.
I mean, look, I remember him being a decent baseball player, but no, he's not Hall of Fame. Same thing. He's not going to make it. It's going to be a one and done.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Also, 0 votes through 98 public ballots. Here's one, and I'll let you answer it. Felix Hernandez.
Oh, man. Are you going to count me down, or?
No, you go ahead. Floor is yours.
Oh, man. 3, 2, 1. Yes.
Okay.
I think I don't think he'll make 1 year ballot. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame. I don't think he'll make it through this year.
No.
But the dude, I mean, looking again at his dominant years, got the Cy Young, was like number 2 in the Cy Young, then won it the year after that, and then was top 10 for the next 4 or 5 years after that too, right? Like the dude was spectacular during that time frame. And, it's tough to to rule him out, right? Based on that. So as a comparison, CC Sabathia, which I'm going to spoilers, is going to make the Hall of Fame. And so his best 7 years, his WAR was 39.4, and Felix was 38.5. Like CC, who I think is a most definite Hall of Famer, Felix was right there with him when he was the most dominant. It just, no offense, he played on really bad teams. So it was, tough for him to really, and the West Coast, he wasn't very visible, but the dude has a really great report card. I think King Felix does in fact deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Going back to my argument, if you don't have a Cy Young, I'm not going to probably have that conversation. He does. And he deserves it. I don't think he'll make it this year, but I think that at some point he will. So, yes, I'm going to say yes to Felix.
I'm going to be honest. I'm surprised, and I'm also surprised that didn't feel patronizing. I feel you actually believe he's a Hall of Famer, so I love it.
Look, I mean, his numbers are so good, man. Like, in fact, what I did earlier, I had it pulled up. So sorry, hold on one second. When you compare him to CC, hold on, it's pulling up right now. All right, so CC Sabathia has better WAR, but he played 150 more games, started 150 more games, right? So like he has so much more stackability within it when it comes to stats, right? But Felix's ERA is better. His K percentage is better. He doesn't have more strikeouts, but he pitched less, right? So, but his K percentage was better. He and his walk percentage was better. So he has the same amount of All-Stars, the same amount of Cy Youngs. He has more ERA titles than CC does. So look, like CC, who I'm like, this is definitely a Hall of Famer. Felix is just as good. Like he just is. Like he just look at the numbers, compare them out. Felix was very dominant, and I think he does deserve to make Hall of Fame. And it's not patronizing at all. I think Felix is legit.
Okay. Without looking, how old do you think Felix Hernandez is?
Is now?
Right, today.
Shit, that makes me feel like he's probably young. 38?
Yeah. He's 38 really? Years old. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. What, did he start when he was 19? That
surprised me. Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
God.
2005, he was 19 years old.
Holy
And
crap.
then he didn't throw under 190 innings for 10 years. From 06 to 2015 was over 190 innings every year. It was actually over 200 innings every year from 2008 until 2015.
I'm looking at it now. That's wild.
From my perspective, obviously I'm a homer. I was always going to vote for him. I'll always find a way to get him on the ballot. Whether or not I leave somebody off for him was another story. But he was Seattle personified, right?
Yeah.
He came up with them. He stayed there. He took the discount to stay there. The franchise did him dirty so many times over. But guess what, man? Every fifth day, the King's Court was out there. He took the ball, and he was pitching his ass off. Yep. He was 169 and 136. The year he won the Cy Young, he was my thing's all backwards. The year he won the Cy Young, his record was horrendous. It was 13 and 12. And it was like unprecedented that they gave it to him. They weren't going to give it to him. He had a 2.27 ERA. He was 13 and 12. He pitched 249 innings. They didn't want to give it to him. Who else was there? David Price. He pitched. He outpitched all of them. He threw 6 complete games, 1 shutout. But it's like, what? Again, that's his time in Seattle.
Does he have a no-no?
He has a perfect game.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah. In Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. But yeah, again, he is everything that Seattle Mariner fandom is, right? You expect everybody to do what he did. He didn't have a better season than that Cy Young. Damn near impossible to replicate something like that, a 2.27 ERA. I lied. In 2014, he had a 2.14 ERA in 34 starts. He went 15-6 only, but did not win the Cy Young somehow. Now I'm going to get post angry about this. They gave it to Corey Kluber. Now I'm pissed off. All right, anyway, I didn't need to go down this rabbit hole about debating Felix Cy Youngs. But anyway, just from the aura this man has on the mound, his stats back it up. Obviously as a pitcher, getting to 3,000 strikeouts is a huge deal, right? Like 3,000 hits, it doesn't happen. And we're going to go into it again with CC, but CC got there. Felix did not. Nope. And it's back to your original statement so long ago about the Hall of Fame and guys that I don't know the word, that have super longevity and don't. And this might be, I do think the voters got it wrong in the first litmus test with Johan Santana. They really botched that because Johan was Felix 1.0, right? Talk about a guy who was the most dominant pitcher in the league for even 4 or 5 years. He was that guy. So now I think they almost have another chance. They've got 10 tries to get this right. Right? And at least from my opinion as a fan, they have 10 tries to get this right because he was one of the best pitchers in that era of baseball. Did he put up 20 years that CC did? No. Should that be a detriment to his Hall of Fame candidacy? Maybe if he didn't have all the counting numbers, but he has 2,500 strikeouts. It's not like he has 1,900. You know what I mean? It's not like he has Johan, 106 wins. It's not, he's not. But Johan had what, 2 or 3 Cy Young? I don't even remember.
So I'd actually just compare the two now, as we were talking. Johan had career WAR is better than Felix, by the way.
But I'm not. Yeah. I don't even know if I put Felix above Johan.
He had 2 Cy Youngs, 3 ERA titles, 1 Golden Glove, and 1 Triple Crown. Yeah, he was fucking.
Yeah. Well, how many seasons did he pitch total? 12.
I don't know if I see. 12 seasons. He has a better ERA and K percentage and strike and base or walk percentage than Felix does. So again, which is better than CC. So yes, I mean, again, like Johan's longevity didn't exist and he didn't stack enough numbers, but he was definitely dominant when he needed to be. And Felix again is more so and has more longevity. So I think that Johan is an extreme case where he pitched very, very little in comparison to a lot of these guys, where Felix didn't pitch as much as some of them, but he still pitched enough and was very, very dominant. So yeah, I think he goes in. So
I know he's not on the ballot, and I know we're pissed about it, and maybe the Veterans Committee does their job when it's time. But if you're looking at Johan super quick, and he won a Cy Young, had an off, we'll call it a quote-unquote off year, where he finished third, and then won a Cy Young. I clicked on it. He had a 7.2 WAR that year. Bartolo won it because he had 21 wins. He had a 4.0 WAR.
Nah, that's ridiculous.
Johan had a 2.87 ERA, 238 strikeouts, 3 complete games, 2 shutouts. Like, had no business lose. Like, he would have won 3 straight Cy Youngs. So anyway, the argument is, my argument is, I hope that the committee, the writers do right by Felix in that, yes, it wasn't as long of a peak, I suppose. I do think it was longer than Johan's. So he has that going for him, I suppose. But Johan's it was just better. Johan's was arguably one. It was the other interesting one is going to be a Jacob deGrom. It's a similar concept.
We're a ways off to that.
We are, but it's that same type of conversation. Unless deGrom has another 3 years of craziness, which who knows if that's ever
I seriously doubt. All right, so we're talking a lot about people who are on the ballots. So
all right, we got Felix Hernandez. We're on Felix. So in on him. So we've got Carlos Beltran, Felix, and soon to be CC. Torrey Hunter. 3, 2, 1. No.
No, and I think he won't get enough votes. This is his last. Like he'll be off of it next year. He'll be under the threshold.
Yeah, I don't think.
I'm surprised he's lasted this long. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, you only need 5% to stay on. He might fall off.
He only had 7% last time.
Last year.
Mm-hmm.
Where the hell is he? Oh yeah, he might drop off after that. It's not his last year, but he might drop off.
It's not his last year, but I think he'll be under the threshold this round. So
yeah, his offensive numbers just aren't there. Again, what a fun player, great player to watch. Enjoyed him. That's all I've got. I don't think we need to go too much more into Torrey Hunter. A fantastic defensive outfielder.
Oh, absolutely, fun to watch. Yeah.
Adam Jones, 3, 2, 1. No.
Nope.
Just a good baseball player.
Good baseball player. Won't make it. This will be one and done for him, too.
Same last name. Do you know who's next?
Yes, I do, sir.
Andrew Jones. 3.
Okay. No. We did this with Felix. We're going to do this with Andrew. Okay. You answer it.
Yes.
My boy. Let's go. All right. Are you patronizing me?
I am not. He was on my list.
Make your argument.
Where is he? Andrew Jones. So, if we're looking at hits, not the best stat to look at for him, but we could go power numbers. 434 homers. Solid. Silver Slugger. I'll take it. 10-time Gold Glove. I'm not huge on looking at Gold Gloves, but he can't be overlooked. That is one that you're about to cut me off. You thought it was going to be bad. What I'm saying is he is not a person you can overlook in that regard, and there's another person that can't in this regard either. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying like when there's certain players, you're like, oh, they got like 4 Gold Gloves. You're like, how? Like he's a statue. That is not the truth for Andrew Jones. He was an elite defender, and that attributes to his 62.7 career WAR. Right, just an all-around good baseball player, and the argument with him amongst a couple people on this ballot is that he didn't do it for long enough, or that his demise, his downfall was swift.
He
right?
fell off a cliff.
It happened in a hurry.
Off a cliff. Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah. It basically. I'm looking at it now. He was 29. That was the last time he was an All-Star. 2006. He had a 5.6 WAR and had 3 the next season. Never got over 2 after that.
Yeah. So the argument I'm going to and so going to that, he was a Golden Glove outfielder for 10 straight years.
Yeah.
1998 to 2008, he was a Golden Glove outfielder, right? So he was almost won Rookie of the Year, and then was a Golden Glover and All-Star, kind of mixed in there. He was second in MVP voting. That one year he hit like 51 home runs. I think it was 05 or 04. And so he had 10 straight years as a Golden Glover, has all his All-Stars, almost an MVP. But again, it's the longevity thing. But I would make the argument, he's probably one of the best defensive outfielders of all time. And I think that alone should, yes, when he hit that age, he fell off a cliff. All right, it happened. Absolutely. But those 10 years, he was the best. He made a case to be the best outfielder to ever play the game. And I think that alone should carry him into the Hall of Fame. But again, I'm going to be partial. Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones, the Jones brothers, I grew up with those guys. And obviously our names are similar. I loved him. He was one of my favorite players. And I think he deserves to get in the Hall of Fame. He was sniffing it last year because this is his 8th year. So he's getting very close to not making, being done.
He's got this plus 2.
Yeah, he has this plus 2, and he was at 61% last year. He's right now on the tracker. He's in the 70s. That's good. That's not. We need him higher, but he's close. Yes. But yeah, I would put him on the ballot for sure.
He lost a lot of love with the private ballots. Yes. He was 66.5 publicly, and then dropped to 61.6 with all in. So right now, to your point, 73.1. It feels if this is just a statement, observation, that he's going to fall short again. I don't, off the top of my head, know who's coming up next year. So maybe he fares in with a little bit lesser guys still on the ballot. We're going to see. But I have him in. I had him on my initial 10 to begin with. And for what it's worth, I have mine documented, haven't changed them. So if you don't trust me, I'd send them to you if you want. But anyway, I think he's in, or I think he should be in. He does have 2 years. I do think the writers will get him in eventually because there are some big names that will eventually drop off this thing.
Yep, I'm with you.
Who's next? I think we're going to get contentious soon. This one better not be. Ian Kinsler. 3, 2, 1. No. Okay. Care to comment?
He was good.
Okay, cool.
yeah.
All right.
I don't think he has a really good argument either way. I mean, he hit less than 300 home runs. He had under 300 stolen bases. Slugging was under 500. OPS was under 800. Yeah, that's just not a Hall of Famer.
And I'm fine with that. Russell Martin, catcher. 3, 2, 1. Absolutely not.
No.
And
I feel like he'll be a one and done, but like it looks like he's not gonna be.
No, sir.
Which is really confusing to me because his numbers are bad in comparison to a lot of people.
Okay, hang on. Let's back up. I'm gonna refrain from what I was about to say because I've seen him. It must just be the 3 ballots that I've seen him voted on that I've seen every one of them apparently because He's been on 6 ballots, and I've had to see every one of them because every time I see somebody vote for him, I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? So he's at 5.8%. So maybe you are right. Maybe he does get dropped off. He needs 14 more people to vote for him to stay on the ballot.
So dumb.
I don't think he should be on it. Or I don't think he should stay. I'm stunned people are using votes for him. I don't even have a valid argument. Like, if you want to be like, okay, defensive catchers, sure, we can make a separate wing for them, maybe in like the back of the museum somewhere. We can make like a bullpen in the Hall of Fame or something and add them to it. You know what I mean? Like a side. Sure. You know, I don't know that because I'm going to say the same about the next person too because I feel similarly, and that's unfortunately that's your boy. That's Brian McCann. I already told you how I feel. I'm a no.
This one hurts a bit. So to go to your statement about Martin, if you compare Brian McCann to Russell Martin, Martin has better WAR at 38.9, and it's because of his defensive stats, right? Brian's is 32. Brian is better in everything else other than stolen bases. He has more championships, more All-Stars, and more Silver Sluggers. Russell Martin has 1 Gold Glove, 1, not multiple, 1. So I don't know how much that Gold Glove's getting towards him, but it is what it is. I want to make an argument for Brian as a catcher because of. But I know it's just personal, right? Because I know it's personal, and growing up playing against him, but the guy only had 15 years of baseball. I think it's fair to say he also fell off a cliff too towards the end of his career. So there's not a good argument other than there's not a lot of catchers that are represented in the Hall of Fame. I can't think of, other than maybe Yadier and Buster, right? That may have been better than him during his time period. I'm trying to think of other catchers that, you know what I mean? Like, so that I grew up watching. Like those are the three guys I think of off the top of my head. So I'm biased because I watched him play so much. I want to put him in the maybe with Abreu, but I don't think you're going to let me do that.
I'm not.
Okay, that's fair. And here's the thing: I think Brian is just happy to be here, and I don't think he gets above the 5% threshold. I don't think he's gonna be one and done, which I hate. But I'm gonna say maybe, but it sounds like we're gonna say no. So let's just move on before I cry.
Yeah, I mean it's tough, man. Like if you're talking. Like, you're talking Mike Piazza, Pudge Rodriguez, right?
Oh,
like,
Pudge, yeah. But they were getting older,
there.
though.
I understand, but I'm saying they don't fit there. Even Joe Mauer, right? Like, and I know Mauer's different because he was more of a hitting type of player, but like Gary Carter, right? Brian McCann doesn't fit in that conversation. And I know... I know opinions of the Hall of Fame and what a Hall of Fame player needs to be reconsidered, I suppose, over time, right? We can't just say no catcher could ever get in because they're not Mike Piazza.
Right.
But you got to be pretty damn close, right? You got to.
No,
right?
I definitely agree. Yeah.
So to your point, you're getting your Yadiers, and I'm sure because Buster's down executive, he'll be all nice with the writers, so he'll get a shot. He'll have a legit snag, and he has 2 MVPs, at least one MVP.
I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Salvador Perez is going to be an interesting.
That'll be interesting for sure.
I don't think he should. We'll talk about him in 15 years when that happens.
Yeah, and I will say again, I know it's my closeness to the Braves. I knew what kind of leader he was. So I mean, there's definitely some biases that are built in. But he was a hell of a ball player, and I enjoyed watching him play. Enjoyed trying to compete with him, which I couldn't. So it's just it is what it is, right? So just know that he has. I mean, again, lots of really good offensive stats, but not nearly enough. So,
all right. So we're gonna agree for no on McCann. This one I'm worried about. Dustin Pedroia. 3, 2, 1.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to be. I was ready to be very angry.
I think that he was a key part of that Red Sox team.
Yep.
And they needed him, and he was very good for a few years, but I don't think he's Hall of Fame material. It was very short-lived. So I think he'll get votes. I think he'll be on the ballots for all 10 years.
I think he's already on. I lied. He needs 8 votes.
Yeah, so I think he'll be on the ballots for all 10 years, and there's a chance he sneaks in towards the end because there's not a lot of second basemen out there. But no, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
I agree. He had his MVP year. He was obviously a vital piece of those Red Sox teams. But that, in my opinion, he had his Rookie of the Year. Then he had his MVP, and then I guess that was really it. This one's coming out to me as I'm looking. He finished 9th in MVP voting with an 8 WAR. Yeah, guys just put up ridiculous numbers. That's a tough one to lose. But anyway, after that MVP, he only had MVP votes twice, and he finished 9th and 7th.
How many years did he play?
14.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because he has low hit numbers, low home run numbers. His stolen bases aren't anything the right. I mean, hell, he only has 138 stolen bases. Like, his OPS was 805. I mean, there's just
he was just I don't know. He was like a gritty, like he was a good player. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, his like WAR 7, like his best 7 years is higher because he was good.
He was very good. He has a 7. He has a 5.6, 8, 6.1, 5.4. He had a couple, solid years in there.
Yeah.
And again, you have an MVP. That's not anything to scoff at. Correct. I just don't think that, unfortunately, for me, having an MVP doesn't automatically say you're a Hall of Famer. However, when I'm trying to make the case for you to get in and you do have an MVP, it's like, it is a double-sided coin for me sometimes.
It was such a front-loaded career because it was Rookie of the Year and then the MVP.
Yeah.
And then he had some All-Stars, but then he just kind of like slowly like devolved. I don't know. I mean, he had a pretty decent year in like 2016. But after 2013, it was all under 5, other than that 1 year, right? So he just really dropped off. So I think that's what it is he was so front loaded that we're like, man, he came out of the gates one of the best players, and if he kept it close to that, he probably would have been considered. But the fact that he just took a nosedive in the last few years of his career, we were just like, man, he was so bad, like he just wasn't good. That's why, I mean, I think it's recency bias, but again, I just don't think it's strong enough.
All right, we agree there. Here's the first litmus test, because I know we did this last year, but I forget where you stood on all these guys.
Yep.
Andy Pettitte. 3, 2, 1. Yes.
No.
Tell me why. Because it was steroids.
Yep. Look, we set a precedent, therefore he should not get in.
Okay. I'm a hard disagree.
And look, like if steroids was allowed,
also wait. Also, who's we? Who set a precedent? Who's we?
The baseball community as a whole.
I mean the writers who vote for this, the gatekeepers of the Hall of Fame.
Yes, correct.
The so-called gatekeepers of this of this museum that we pay to attend to learn about.
Those people.
To learn about the history of the game. That doesn't include some of the greatest players to ever play the game. That one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That will not include the winningest pitcher in Major League Baseball history, postseason history, excuse me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because he does still has the most wins in postseason history. He has 19. The closest active would be Justin Verlander with 17 and Clayton Kershaw with 14. I would assume with the new playoff format, that's likely to change pretty soon, but still pretty awesome. Let's see.
So you think his playoff performance should be why he makes the Hall of Fame?
I think that
he played on a team that always made the playoffs.
I think that, and I think his performances in those games mattered. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was known for pitching well in the postseason, particularly.
How many Cy Youngs does he have?
Andy Pettitte, 0.
Yeah. How many ERA titles does he have?
I'm going to say 0.
It's 0. He only has 3 All-Stars.
He's a CS MVP.
Yeah. Okay. He only has 3 All-Stars. No, I don't really care about that in this argument.
Not anymore. Yeah, okay,
so
go ahead.
His K percentage is low. His and for a guy who played a lot, I mean, he pitched or started 521 games and has less than 2,500 strikeouts. I mean, he has less strikeouts than Felix does. I mean, I just don't like Pettitte was good. I'm not saying he wasn't. I just don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
I think he was good enough with regular season numbers. But I think the postseason numbers push him over the edge. Quite frankly,
no, absolutely. Postseason's bullshit. No, because postseason is not something everyone gets to do. Felix Hernandez postseason numbers suck because he never got to play in the postseason.
That I understand that, but
if Felix was able to pitch in the postseason, he'd probably have really good numbers, but he doesn't have. I'm just saying,
how the cookie crumbles, man.
Postseason is a bad argument. That's all I'm saying.
You can't ignore something that happened.
No, I mean, I will agree. He pitched well during the postseason, but he also played for the best team in baseball. That was the best team for like 6 fucking years. Like, he didn't have to pitch well. He just had to pitch good enough, and he got the numbers. Like, listen, man, Andy Pettitte is he's a result of good circumstances.
Okay.
That's all I got. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I will take Bobby Abreu over Andy Pettitte.
I might have to take that win. We'll see what happens there.
Okay, put him in the maybe pile. I'm going to say no, though.
He's there too. All right, so let's see. Who's after him? Hanley Ramirez. I'm just saying no.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, he's a one and done.
Manny Ramirez. 3, 2, 1.
No.
Yes. The answer is yes. The answer you are looking for is yes. I don't understand your logic. He's got 550 home runs. What,
it's the same as the
555,
other one. Like we're not letting people in. He's not getting in.
You're the gatekeeper today, right? Who cares what anybody else thinks? You have no more group thing. This is Andrew Phillips' ballot. You're just like, no, I don't want the arguably the greatest right-handed hitter of all time in the Hall of Fame.
He's not. No, that's not true. But okay, here's the deal. There are 2 names on this list who I think should be in the Hall of Fame that aren't going to make it in. And it's because of the steroid thing. One of them is an obvious. There's like why we are even debating is ridiculous. So Manny's a part of that. There. Look, Manny's numbers are insane. He has Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah,
but he's not getting in, and he's not getting my vote because he's
going on our ballot. I'm the one.
This is not a dictatorship, Chris.
You can fuck right off. Manny, Man Ram gets in. Listen, dude, 555, 1,800 RBIs, a whopping 38 stolen bases, which is hilarious, by the way.
That's awesome.
It's more than I thought. Awesome. Honestly, I thought he would have had more than that.
Okay, so his best 7 years is worse than Chase Utley's, Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, Bobby Abreu, Troy Tulowitzki, and A-Rod.
Because he can't field.
So he stacked stats. I don't know if he really was. I'm trying to make an argument here. Yeah, he played for 19 years. They don't have 555
home runs or an OPS of 996. That's close to 1,000.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Right? He slugged 585.
He didn't win an MVP? I could have sworn he won an MVP.
No, he finished 6th, 3rd, 6th, 9th, 9th, 6th, 3rd, 4th.
I thought he had MVP for sure. Okay.
He probably got boned in there a couple times.
Yeah, most likely.
I mean, he hit 44 home runs. He had 160. Who the hell won it this year? 1999. Oh, he finished 3rd, and he actually had no business winning. The Pedro probably should have won.
Oh,
but
yeah, hell yeah.
Pudge Rodriguez won. But yeah, fair. He had 44 homers and 165 RBIs. He had an OPS of 1.105. He would 100% have won. But Pedro went 23-4 with the 2.07. He did not win either. Times were tough back in 99.
500 plus home runs, 1,800 RBIs. I mean, look.
So here's the deal.
2,500 hits.
He's not going to get enough to get in. He was at 32.5 last year. He's on his 8th year, so this is, he
won't get in.
2 more after this. No. So he's just going to be
Here's the problem with Manny. If Manny was not on this ballot, sharing the ballot with Alec, like A-Rod, then he would probably have a better shot. But the writers are going, well, if I have to vote for a steroid user, I'm going to vote A-Rod because anyways, we'll get to that. But it is circumstantial, but yeah,
they're not even doing that. So, but yeah, I'm in on Manny. I just think he's hard to ignore. Fernando Rodney, absolutely not.
No.
While the Fernando Rodney experience is something everybody should have been able to live through, he's just not. He's not a Hall of Famer. No. And I think I hope I know where you're going here. Alex Rodriguez. The answer is unequivocally yes, right?
Yeah, so it should be yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be like. I have to say no because it makes me a hypocrite to say yes. But holy fuck, dude! Like his WAR is 117.
That's only 16th all time somehow. But it's like top three in the modern era.
His WAR 7, by the way, his 7 best years is 15 points better than the second place. Like, that's how much better he is. Like, almost had 700 home runs, over 2,000 RBIs, had over 300 stolen bases, which we know I love. His OPS was worse than Manny's technically, but and he like when he played like at his prime was a hell of a shortstop. Look, I mean, yeah, the dude used steroids. So did everybody else. Then Manny, I said no to Manny because of circumstances, but I think other guys were better than him. I don't think guys were better than Alex.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
he's 16th all-time career WAR. I think I said third modern era, and I think it was only behind Bonds and Clemens.
That checks out. Yeah.
So,
but if you were to ask me who would be better than him, I would say Bonds, and that's the only person I could say. Like I mean Clemens, okay, that makes sense, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean hitter. The answer is nobody. Besides, Alex Rodriguez is arguably top 5 baseball player of all time. Very seriously.
No, I will say top 10, definitely top 5.
Yeah, but you can have the conversation, right?
But I was thinking about it. I feel like I spit out like, okay, it could be argued, I guess, but absolutely top 10. Absolutely top 10. Yeah, I mean, don't disagree.
Keep going down the line. Best shortstop of all time. Yeah, like him or Cal Ripken Jr. Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, him or Ozzy. Yeah.
Like him or him or Derek Jeter, no contest. Yeah, it's Alex Rodriguez. But you get what I'm saying? Like, so again, no doubt, top 10. And as far as best players we've ever seen, second, third. If you want to say, we just named the 3.
If you want to take pictures,
Bonds, Clemens. Even in WAR, he's a slightly above Maddox and your guy and Maddox and them. So I don't know. I don't have an argument to be like, hey, this is why you should vote him in, because if you're not voting him in, you're already steadfast in your belief that you're not going to.
Yeah, correct. Completely agree.
I'm not going to change that. He's only on his 3rd year.
He's on his 4th.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, I'm looking at 2024. He had 35% of the vote last year. He's got 45 right now, but he'll lose a bunch.
He's taking the Ortiz route where he's doing the broadcasting thing to make people love him, including other writers. And I think because he's in the 40s right now this year, and if he's on year 4, if he continues this trend of people liking him, there's a chance he could get in. The reason Clemens and Bonds don't is because they're pariahs and they have terrible attitudes towards everyone. They have a chip on their shoulder for being the best and not being appreciated for it. And that was their, and Alex was like, nope, I'm going to do what David did. I'm going to make everybody love me as a person, and that will get me in. I'll get those sympathy votes. So there's a chance Alex could make it. I don't think Manny does, but I think Alex has a possibility.
But I'm out on Manny getting in officially. Yeah, I do think A-Rod has a chance within his next 5-6 years. The way the turnover will happen with voters.
The trend goes up. The trend goes up.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hold out hope, and like you said, maybe his media resurgence helps because he is tight with Ortiz now, and that's how Ortiz got in. Don't get me started on that. Francisco Rodriguez, closer. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to say no. Okay. Good closer. Not great. Not a Hall of Famer. He should stay on the ballot.
I think it'll be close. If I'm being honest.
Last year.
Oh, it looks like he's not double digits yet, but he's like 9.6. So there's a chance he stays on.
Okay. Cool. We'll move on. Here's a tricky one. I know where I stand. Jimmy Rollins. 1, 2, 3.
No. Yeah. I think he is. He makes the Hall of Very Good Baseball Players for sure. Won an MVP. That's a good argument. But that's going back to the Pedroia thing. the
Yep.
Hall of very good players. It's just not enough. I think he'll stay on the ballot all 10 years, but I don't think he cracks 30% at any point. Thanks for your service, I guess, to Phillies fans, but yeah, nope.
23. Yeah, what did he get last year?
14.
Okay, he's trending better now. We'll see. I'm with you on it. I don't think he's.
There's another Philly that has a much better argument than him.
Hall very good. Again, that MVP, we're just like, yeah, whatever, he won one, but if we needed him in, we'd be like, he won an MVP. So I get that. Yep. I like Jimmy Rollins, Northeast PA guy, or, from myself being from Northeast PA, seeing him come through the AAA team and with Phillies, everybody loved him. Good guy, good baseball player. I don't know if he should be in the Hall of Fame. Should be in the Phillies Hall of Fame if he's not already, though. Yeah. These should be two shoe-ins in a row. First time ballots. CC Sabathia. I think we already said yes on him.
Yep.
Almost seemingly a no-brainer in terms of, if we want to go counting stats, he's probably of that era.
Of counting stats.
Yeah, he's one of that era. There's a couple still left, right, that are out there that, we talk about still, but from now until then, like, there doesn't seem to be that many left. So he's got the 3,000 strikeouts. What did he have? 250 plus wins, I think. 251 wins, one Cy Young, 4 top 5 Cy Youngs. Just a good pitcher. And I'll never forget when he went to the Milwaukee Brewers in the middle of the season and just shoved it. And I'll never forget that stretch run of all time. Like, he just went out there it seemed like every third day he was just throwing complete game shutouts. It just didn't seem right. I don't know how he did it. And I know he was much more than that, right? He had a whole career besides that season. Let's see. That was in 2008, and he was 27 years old. He went on to pitch another
50 years.
Yeah, like forever. But that's like, just to put, I have to read this stat line because it's insane. So that, we'll call it second half of the season. He pitched 17 games. This is just the Brewers, right, in the NL. He had a 4.9 WAR with just the Brewers. He was 11-2 with a 1.65 ERA. He had 7 complete games, 3 shutouts. He threw 130 innings, 128 strikeouts. Like, what an insane person. Like, what a crazy person. And he probably got boned out of Cy Youngs because he was split between leagues.
Yep. Completely agree.
So love him. The answer is yes. I wish we had more to say about him, but because we agree and we're getting towards the end, we'll keep moving along. This one, if it's not, I'm going to jump to the screen and choke you out. My Lord and Savior, he's right above my shoulder back here. That's Ichiro Suzuki. The answer is yes. Please feel free to say no. You can.
Yeah. So let me read you this stat real quick. Ichiro Suzuki has a 9 ERA with a WHIP of 2. I mean, he was a shitty pitcher, dude. He was such a bad pitcher.
You did not see him mow down some Japanese high school women's team or some shit last summer.
Look, I was trying to how can I prank Chris by saying no? And it's okay. He pitched one time and let in 2 runs, so his ERA is 9, or let in a run and a hit. Looks like so. But anyways, it's pretty funny. Look, I mean, 3,000 club. Obviously, he stacked some. I mean, he had a long career, but still, he was a part of the 3,000 club along with Alex Rodriguez. His WAR is over 6, or right at 60. I mean, he could get a hit off of any pitch in any direction. He was had an arm that just had a cannon for an arm, and was just the epitome of fundamentals and gratitude. And how do you not? I mean, how do you not love Ichiro? I look, if he's not 100%, I think we should be upset, to be quite honest with you. I think he will be 100%. He is right now, so he should be. And because he was just, he's one of the best hitters the game's ever seen. And that's over here. That's also in Japan. Like, the guy dominated wherever he played. And so I think he definitely deserves all of the clout and the automatic bid. I mean, he was the Rookie of the Year and MVP his first season. Of course, he was not a kid. How old was he when he came over here? I forget.
He's 27 years old.
He was 27 years old. And then he was 27 years old and then goes on to play 19 more years. You know what I mean? Like, that's impressive. Now, granted,
some would argue he hung on a little too long, but you know.
Granted, he not fell off a cliff, but he stopped being the dominant force after 2010. So that's fair.
Yeah.
But the fact that he still was around and played and was a factor for that long is impressive. So, I mean, yeah, Hall of Famer, 100%.
The man was incredible. He slept, dreamt. He did everything he did was consumed by baseball. Mm-hmm. You know, to come over at 27, I mean, hell, the guy had a full career before he even came over.
Sure did. 100%
I don't have his Japanese stats pulled up, but combined, you know, and that's not easy to be like, oh, well, if he did this, he'd be the all-time hits leader. But it's just to say the guy was damn good, and he was one of the. I don't want to poo-poo anybody prior to him, but he was one of the pioneers of, holy hell, this guy's the real deal. Oh my God, this guy was really the real deal, and he stuck up for it and did everything. You know, he wasn't the first by no means. He won't be the last by any means. I mean, you know, I think I told you I went to Seattle 2 years ago. He's still around, right? He's just shagging fly balls, taking BP. It's just like he never left. The dude just loves baseball. I think he still holds the season record for hits in a season, 262. When he passed out George Sisler, I don't think anybody passed him out. I'd have to get fact check on that. 262 was the number that he had set. That was in 2004. But again, just an all-around guy, all-around baseball player. And again, to talk about what he meant to the city, you know, you talk about what Felix meant, and Ichiro was everything and then some as well. Still beloved. Just as much as the first day he was there as he is today. I'm stunned they don't use him more to you know, attract talent. But regardless, he's a certified Hall of Famer in every way, shape, or form. I am still holding out hope that I make my way up there to see it. But if I don't, whatever, I'll meet him someday up there.
Yep. Not only does Ichiro have the most hits in one season, but he has 3 of the top 15.
Yeah,
of the top 20. Three of the top 20. So he had
240 some the first year, 242 his first year.
Yep, that's 2001, and then 2007 at 238. And those are the only. Oh no! So Darren Erstad in 2000 had 240. But those are the only really modern baseball guys to make the list.
When he did it, he passed out George Sisler. I think Sisler had 260.
Yeah, that's the only 2000s guy is that guy. And then everything else is fucking forever ago. Wow. All right. Good for Ichiro.
Well, all right. Ichiro's in. I'll get off my horse here. But if you don't have him, you better have a damn good reason why you voted for 10 other guys, because the only reason I can see somebody leaving him out is if they're like, I'm afraid this guy's going to fall off the ballot or some other bullshit reason. But I still want him at 100% because it means more to me.
Yep.
Troy Tulowitzki. No.
Oh, you didn't count down? No.
No. What's there to count down?
No, it doesn't make this is one and done too.
Yeah. One thing that really did surprise me, though, about him, and I don't even know, is as short as his span was, like his reign, he had a 44.5 career WAR. Like the dude was pretty damn good.
He was. I mean, it helped. His numbers are helped out by being in Colorado. Like
sure, but then he also couldn't stay healthy. But correct. Whatever. Thanks for your service, Tulo. I have no ill will against you. I think he coaches college ball in Texas for the
interesting.
Longhorns. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. Here's one for you. Chase Utley. 3, 2, 1. No.
Asterisks. No asterisks. So he, other than Alex Rodriguez, has the best 7-year WAR. His best 7 seasons are second to A-Rod. Better than Andrew Jones, better than Beltran, better than Ichiro, better than Manny. Like, so his 7-year reign, his best 7 years are only worse than A-Rod. So there is an argument to be made that Chase, during his prime, was very, very good, which he was. But unlike Jimmy, he doesn't actually have an MVP, no Rookie of the Year. He never led the league in anything other than hit by pitch, which he did
For 3 straight years.
3 years he did for 3 years, and then he led the league in runs 1 year too. He was very good for a while. I mean, dude, what the heck? He had a year where his WAR was 9, and finished 14th in MVP voting.
Yeah, he kind of got hosed there, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Like, I'll agree. Like, let's agree there. Yeah, he got hosed. I don't think he should have won it, but he shouldn't have been 14th.
Yeah, 14th is wild. Pujols won it that year. Albert Pujols, Ryan Howard, Ryan Braun, Manny Ramirez, Lance Berkman, CeCe Sabathia, David Wright, Brad Lidge. That can't be that can't be right. That must be the wrong year. No, anyways, that's the right year. Oh no, I got to keep going. Delgado, Ramirez, Chipper, Soto. Wow, Johan. Okay. Anyways, it was tough in the 90s. It was tough in those days, the early 2000s. But again, like, was very good for his peak. But I just 16 years. I think there is an opportunity for him to make it into the Hall, because he had 20% last year. He's in the 50s right now. So, and this is only his 2nd year. So I think he makes the Hall. I don't know. I don't feel like he's on that list right now.
Yeah, he was closer to 30 last year. 28.8 he finished with.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, upward trajectory. He doesn't do well with the private ballot, or he'll lose some percentage points with private ballots. I think he's a good player. He has 4 silver sluggers. I do think silver sluggers are important. I'll give him credit for that. He's got 4 of those. Though you could tell, you could make the argument that some of the MVP voting is a little tough. Right, being 14th in a year that you produce 9 WAR and end up behind Giovanni Soto is kind of bonkers. But so I guess the concern is, he went, just in terms of WAR numbers, 7-3, 7-3, 7-8, 9, 8-2, 5-8, and then was never above a 4 again.
Yeah,
and, his drop off was bad.
Yeah,
that 30 years old hit him like a ton of bricks.
It did.
Where he just never. It's that new type of Hall of Famer, though, right?
Yeah,
I think we have to, maybe in 2 years, maybe when this ballot kind of gets cleaned up a little, right? Some of these guys fall off, right? Pettit comes off, Manny comes off. What would we say? 3 years, right? 1 + 2.
Yep.
So in 3 years, when they come off, and now it's Utley, and again, I don't know who else is coming down the pipeline, but you're like, okay, like, let's take a second and reevaluate, like, who's here and what's going on, and like, maybe that's when you get a better look at Utley as a whole, right? And you're like, hey, like, he might not have been an MVP, but god damn it, like, he was one of the best second basemen of this time. And I still think that's true, and I think we need to start looking at it that way.
But here's the thing, like, when you look at Utley's comparison to the other fringe Hall of Famer, which I would say is Andrew Jones, right? His WAR's barely better, but he has no Golden Gloves. He has 0 Golden Gloves. So it was all offensive stats. But Andrew has more home runs, more RBIs, 2 less stolen bases. Andrews has better slugging and better OPS. So, like, to me, it's just Chase was a one-trick. He was a bat. Like, that's all he did.
But you do have to look at the second base position as well, though. Like Andrew Jones, Andrew Jones has 440 home runs. He's a power-hitting center fielder, right?
Yeah, but you're doing the comparison game where you're looking at, like, is McCann a Hall of Famer? And the answer is no. But you're like, well, the case is that he's a very good catcher. But, I mean, it shouldn't just be by position. It should be as a whole, right? So, I don't know. I think an argument can be made for both. Utley, to me, was on my maybe list. Like, if we're looking at reserves, like with Bobby Abreu, he would be on my maybe list.
Okay.
Let me compare him.
He wasn't on mine, but we're going to have to make some decisions here soon because I had guys that you're steadfast no on, so we're going to come back to some of these here in a second.
Yep.
Omar Vizquel, 3, 2, 1. No, he's a piece of shit. He was a good defender, can't hit. He played for 100 years. Screw him.
Let's be clear. He was a great defender. Okay. He was a great defender, but piece of shit. Didn't do anything else. Not interested, but he was a great defender. So, moving on.
688 career OPS, by the way. Get out of not my Hall of Fame.
688? Yeah, no.
Played for 24 years. All right.
He had over 400 stolen bases, so he was fast. But yeah,
in 24 seasons.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, long time.
I looked this up. Hang on. Fun fact. How many people do you think have over 500 stolen bases? Career, like in the history of Major League Baseball?
Over 500? Mm-hmm. Ooh, something tells me it's not a very big list. Let's go. The problem is there's a bunch of old timers that got a lot too. Let's go 25.
Like around 40. I was stunned by it. I felt like that was a lot. Because Ichiro had over 500, so I was like, "Oh, this is a good one to talk to Ichiro about." I was like, I had to keep scrolling down. I was like, "Holy shit, there's a lot of." I was like, "There's a lot of guys." Sorry.
How many a modern era though? Probably not.
I don't know. I just had Ichiro at 500, and I put top 40 all time, and I remember it. I was being surprised by it was that many.
I'll look at it, but get you him.
3 left. This one, I hope you're with me on. Billy Wagner. 3, 2, 1. Yes. All right.
Get him in the Hall of he's I mean, look, there's not a lot of argument to be made for the closer because it is newer, but I think he 100% is one of the best to do it and deserves to be there. So yes, let's go there.
So let's see. He has a career strikeout rate of 11.9 strikeouts per 9. It's among the highest for relievers in ML history. This is all AI, by the way. Among relievers who have pitched 900 innings since 1960, he is second in career ERA, only to Mariano Rivera. Mariano has a 2.21 ERA. Billy Wagner, a 2.31 ERA. The guy's damn good. He's as good as they come as a closer. When he retired, he was 6th all time on the saves list. I don't know where he ranks right now. Oh, fun fact. By that post-1960 stat I threw out there, Wagner was 2nd at a 2.31. Trevor Hoffman, Hall of Famer, 10th at a 2.87. So I don't disagree that Hoffman's a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying that to take away, but I'm saying you want Hoffman in, Billy Wagner's in. Done deal.
Completely agree. And I don't have it in front of me, but I made this case for him last year, so I'm not going to make it again. But his K per 9 was outrageous. Like the guy missed bats, and I think he had under 1 whip as a career. So I mean, yes, he's a closer. He didn't see a lot, but that's still really, really, really impressive. And so I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He was really close last time, and this is his last chance. So I think he gets that final bump and that sympathy, if you want to call it that, the sympathy vote to get him in. So
yeah, he looks good as of right now. Looks strong. Yep. Let's see what happens. It's always interesting last year at ballot because you get like some public support in there.
There has been a lot of public support for him, which I think is great. He deserves it. Get him in the hall.
All right, last two. This one will be interesting. David Wright. 3, 2, 1. No.
No.
All right. Again, good ball player. Injuries kind of derailed him.
Yeah, I think if he didn't have the injury, if he didn't play for the Mets and suffer the Mets curse, maybe he would have had a longer and better career. But yeah, I'm going to say no. He'll stick around on the ballots for a little while, but I don't think it. I mean, he's not going to be close.
Not. He's pretty close. He's at 7.7% right now. He'll be all right. He'll hang around.
He was only at 6 last time, so he's not improving much. So we'll see.
You only need 5. Ben Zobrist. 3, 2, 1. No. Good player. I think World Series MVP.
Sure.
Kudos to him.
Good for you. Yeah. And kudos to Craigers.
Unbelievable.
Sorry. Pull from another podcast.
Unbelievable. All right. So this is where we're at.
Okay.
We are in complete agreement. I'm going to read the names and make sure I didn't screw this up. We're in complete agreement on Carlos Beltran, Felix Hernandez.
Yep.
Andrew Jones. Alex Rodriguez. CC Sabathia. Ichiro. And Billy Wagner.
So we have 7.
That's 7 we are in complete agreement upon.
Yep. And so we have, technically we have 3 maybes, right? With Bobby, Chase, and Manny, right? I guess
if you're willing to give me Manny, I'll take Manny.
You're pushing hard for Pettit, though.
I'd take Manny over Pettit.
I was pushing pretty hard for McCann.
I won't give you him. I refuse. Can't do it.
I'm actually okay with Bobby because the more you look at Bobby's numbers, the more you're like, holy shit, Bobby was legit.
He was a very good baseball player. And again, he very well could just be Hall of Very Good, and that's okay. But I think the word needs to be out there on Bobby Abreu.
Was he stacking? Like, did he just play so much more than everybody else?
I don't think so. I think he was just like a consistent. He played 18 seasons. He hit 500 doubles. Like what? He had 574 doubles.
So I'm looking at the comparison.
Like he was a 3-WAR he was a 3-WAR player at age 35.
Yeah, if I'm looking at the comparison, his stats, he has better stats than Utley in everything. More home runs, more hits, more RBIs, more stolen bases by a lot. Better batting average, better OPS, better slugging, better OBP. Has a Gold Glove, 1 Silver Slugger, 2 All-Stars. But why? Let's see here. I'm trying to look at other things.
He's got 400 stolen bases. He's just a very good and I think that's the thing, though. He was just like he was, for some bad Phillies teams, he was the heart of the order. Don't get me wrong. However, he was just a good baseball player. He was a good player on a bad team.
500 more games than Utley. So, it's tough, right? I wish I could see like averages of everything, year to year.
You could see 162 game average on the bottom. If you
I'm looking at the comparison. But let me look at his actual stats. So, sorry everybody, we're doing this real time, but it is interesting.
Bobby's career. Bobby, I'm on Abreu.
Okay, I'll go to chat.
All right, I'll read Abreu's. He had a 162 game average of 4 WAR, 38 doubles, 19 homers, 91 RBIs, 291 with an 870 OPS.
Okay, Utley was a 5.4, 34 doubles, 22 home runs, 86 RBIs, 275 batting average, 823 OPS.
Bobby's OPS was higher, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Abreu had 27 steals, so they're pretty damn close in that regard.
Utley was 13. How many strikeouts did he average a year? Utley was at 100.
Strikeouts. 123.
How many walks?
Man, I'm getting crazy. 99.
Utley had 61. Okay, I mean, look,
They're very close.
they're close. Yeah, I mean, like I think that's interesting. It's tough. Like I think that Bobby just has more longevity for sure. Utley was just more dominant in his peak, right? So this is again old school thinking versus new school, right? These are the two like really great examples.
But
I say
this
is what we do. We have to make a decision. Do we put in Bobby or Utley? Are we doing old school stat casting, like stacking, or are we going to go? No, we need to take into account the peak. What's more important to us? Like, let's. I'm not going to think about anything else. What do you think is more important? Because if I'm being honest, I think Utley deserves to be in the Hall of Fame over Abreu just because he was better at his peak. Bobby was consistent for a long time. Good for him. But he was never dominant. Chase was dominant. So that's my vote. I say we can't put them both in. I said we have to pick one, and I'm going to say Utley.
Kind of agree with. All right, here this is kind of my answer, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Shit. I'm going to think of a comparison for you because the first one wasn't going to be fair, and I was going to prove myself wrong. Chase Utley or Jeff Kent?
Chase Utley.
Okay.
Yeah, Chase Utley. Kent was good, but I feel like Utley's best years were better.
Okay. Hold on.
And really the only reason I know Kent is because he was the only thing that could protect Barry and didn't do it enough anyways. So.
I mean, I do think Jeff Kent should have been in the Hall of Fame, but that's a whole nother argument. But I do agree with you. Yep. So, all right. Here's a tough one. Bobby Abreu or Jim Edmonds?
Edmonds is not a Hall of Famer, right? Is that what you're doing?
Answer the question.
That's a really good one, Chris. Jim Edmonds, again, going to Andrew, one of the best fielding outfielders we've seen. Oof. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go Edmonds because I still think he was.
Then,
I think he was.
Our answer is Chase Utley. Then.
Okay. Do you agree with me?
I wanted to make it hard because the point of that.
I mean, it's a good.
The point of that
argument.
line of questioning was if you're going to pick this other non-Hall of Famer over the man on the actual ballot now. Then
that's fair.
How could we put this man in? Because I had there's another guy that was close too. Well, it isn't fair because I think we both said him last year, and that's Gary Sheffield. But after I was trying to find like some other guys that were like the first guy I was going to say is like Andrew Jones or Bobby Abreu, and I know you were going to say Andrew Jones. It's like Andrew, okay, well, all right. So there's 8. We have 8. Okay. Where do we land on? Who else are we missing? We were off on Pettit. We were off on Manny.
I'm not giving you Pettit.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We put Manny in.
I mean, look, I'm going against my hypocritical argument here again, but yeah, I'm okay with look, Manny was awesome. I'll give you Manny.
Man Ram.
So we just go with 9. We go with 9. I'm okay with that.
I don't think that's fair. We're screwing somebody out of a vote.
You don't have to, like, 10's the max. You don't have to vote for 10 people.
Yeah, but we should, though. Why would we not? What would you like? That's why it's like, okay, well, we agreed who should and shouldn't be. The only other person we were like, well, you were torn on McCann for personal reasons, but the only other person we're torn on is Bobby Bray. Then it's like, then we should put him in.
I think that Dustin Pedroia has a better argument than Bobby Bray.
Oh, I'm a hard disagree, so I'll leave it blank if that's if that's what you're going to go with. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, I mean,
All
look,
right.
Dustin started really, really, really strong. If he had kept that, he would have been a Hall of Famer, but he didn't.
All right.
So
that settles it. Official list. Carlos Beltran.
Yep.
Felix Hernandez. Andrew Jones. Alex Rodriguez. CC Sabathia. Ichiro Suzuki. Billy Wagner. Chase Utley. Manny Ramirez.
Love it.
It should have been in alphabetical order, but I was writing them in order.
No, it's totally fine.
I couldn't do alphabetical that quickly.
Sweet.
We're submitting this to somebody who gets it. I have no idea, but we're gonna fix it. Oh, Jesus.
I love it. I love
that. We're going to mail this out to the Hall of Fame, I think.
Yes, we are.
Somebody's going to receipt this. Whether or not they throw it away is another story, but somebody is going to receive this piece of mail from us. Listen, you're yawning. I'm sure if you're listening, you're yawning. But man, I had some fun. That was probably the most in-depth we've gotten in quite some time.
It's been a while. If you're still listening to us at the 2 hour plus mark, thank you so much. Look, Chris and I obviously very passionate guys about baseball and the history of baseball. And I'm glad that you are too. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this was a fun conversation. We'd love for you to interact with us and tell us how wrong we are or how right we are. I think everyone can agree that we got this perfect. And so please let us know on all our socials, whether it's Instagram, X/Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Please like and review us on Spotify, on Apple, on Amazon, however you're listening to us. Thank you all so much for listening. We look forward to talking to you again in a couple weeks. Until then, my name is Andrew.
And I'm Chris.
And this is the Coach's Sons Podcast.